single user bandwidth analysis. When an application comes for performance testing to you analyze the system. When an application comes for performance testing, what you do, first of all, you analyze the system from a single user perspective. From a single user perspective, what does this mean? You analyze the system when you put a single user to that system. Forget about hundreds of users. Forget about 10 users. Just consider one user. When one user is using that system, how that system is performing. When an application comes for performance testing to you, what you do? First of all, you measure the performance of that system for a single user perspective. So that is what we are calling single user bandwidth analysis. Single user bandwidth analysis or bandwidth testing. So in single user bandwidth analysis, what we do, we measure for a single user how the application is performing. Very simple. In single user bandwidth analysis, we measure the performance of the application, the performance of the proposed application under a single user perspective, how the application behaves, how the application performs when a single user is using the application. Now, how we do that single user bandwidth analysis? How we measure performance for that application for a single user, right? We use a tool called Fiddler. We use a tool, some other people might use some other tool, but we use a tool called Fiddler for single user bandwidth analysis. Now how we do that? How actually I will introduce you, all of you, how Fiddler can be used for measuring performance or debugging application. Now let me show you here.
So you not install it, is that okay, right?
That's fine. Just follow it here.
Yeah.
Take a look here, guys. Let me do one thing here. Can you see? This is the Fiddler window that I have, but let me close that Fiddler. And before I close that Fiddler, in Fiddler, when you start Fiddler from your computer, it will bring a window like you can see here in the screen. In that window, we have multiple parts, but the parts that you need to familiar yourself with are, can you see in the left hand side this part here? You can see this, right? You can make it smaller or bigger, right? You can make it smaller or bigger. So the window is divided in three frame. In the left hand side there is a frame, everyone, and here you can see another frame that you can make it bigger or smaller, right? And this, so
The bigger is from left and right, bigger is from up and down.
yes sir. Now
The total is Fiddler?
the total is Fiddler. It has three frame here. In the left hand side we have one frame, in the right hand side we have two frames. Now what does this mean? Okay, now on top of this frame we have a menu bar here, okay, and you can see that look at here, in the top part, can you see we can make it small and big, right? In the top part we have some menus specifically for this part, okay. If you see that when you are choosing different menu, this part is only changing, okay. Then we have, for the bottom part again, we have another, can you see, we have menus that is controlling that part, right? Now you can see here that for this part we have some menu too. Can you see some column header here, comments, then procedure, content, right? So right, we basically in these three form we might use some of these menus, some of these menus, some of these menus. Okay? Sure. Yes.
Fiddler is a tool to single.
Fiddler is a tool. Normally we say we use it for debugging application, but performance tester they use it for single user bandwidth analysis.
Mainly.
Mainly, yeah. As a web developer, they use it to debug their application. Performance tester, we use it for our analysis.
And every company use the same thing.
See, different people will use different tool, but this is a very popular tool. Very popular tool. Now, so how many part we had in the Fiddler window? Three part, right?
Yes.
Now, let me tell you. These, let me stop this Fiddler, right? And then I don't have any Fiddler open here. Let me minimize everything. Let me close this. Now you can see also, let me sign up from this application. Now I don't have any Fiddler open, right? Am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. Now let me start Fiddler. When you have installed Fiddler, you will see Fiddler in your menu. In your menu, like in your start button. Okay. So in your start button, you will see Fiddler. Now how you will start Fiddler? You click on it. Fiddler will be started. Okay. Now when you start.
Or did you click in no?
Oh, it like when you hold on. When you start Fiddler, when you start Fiddler, it is saying that there is a good news. An improved version of Fiddler is now available.
Okay.
So I don't want that.
Because now yes, this.
I can make it updated, but I don't want that.
Okay.
Okay. Now take a look here. When you start Fiddler, you will see telerik.com. There is a request. You delete it because by default it comes. Now you have nothing, right?
Yeah.
Now you can see that I can capture traffic. Can you see here, everyone? Can you see the screen?
Is this Fiddler?
Yeah, this is Fiddler.
So what is the other part? You said 3 part. Now I see only 2, right?
Yes, sir. There is two part because I'll tell you why there is two part. The other part is not there because we do not have anything here.
Oh, okay.
Right now, take a look here. Can you see that I can? There is a check mark here. I
Go
can.
to file, right?
Yeah, file. If you go to file, you can see that we have a check mark here. By checking this, we can capture traffic. We can stop capturing traffic. Now let's say I choose to uncheck it. Okay, I choose. There is no check mark here, right?
Right.
Now if you go to your browser,
How do we do the checking again?
yeah, I'll show you. Now if you go to your browser here, if you refresh this page here, can you see this refresh button?
Yeah.
So I refresh the page, right? Now if you go back to Fiddler, do you see any request came here? No request came, right? Now let me go there again. Let me go to this is my Fiddler, right? Now I am enabling. Probably I am answering your question.
Yeah.
So I am bringing that check mark. I am just clicking here. Check mark
that's
is here. Now you come here again. You go there, and you refresh the page again.
Okay.
Okay. Now you come here. In your Fiddler, can you see here that some request?
Okay.
So some requests came here. So what are those requests? Those requests are when you refresh your browser, what it did, it pulled the page. The page was there. The page, whatever was there, this page, it again sent a request to the server and brought the server content from the server. So what it did, when you refresh this page, it again make a request to the server. Okay, I know I have those page. I know you explained it in the last class, but I want it again. Could you explain it? So it is telling, I know I have it in the screen, but no. Can you give me this content again? It is sending a request to the server, and server in response is giving you the content from the server, and whatever is happening on your browser, is going to be
When you click the capture.
when you click capture, whatever is happening in your browser, everything is reflected in that Fiddler. Everything is reflected in that data. Is it clear?
Yeah, it is clear, but my question is that if I selected a website, then will we do same way? No, I mean, I selected a website in Mercury tool, then I'll be bringing that website. There is nothing. You just refresh.
Yeah. I just refresh, and whatever were there on that page, it has brought those content from the server.
But if I wanted to request Mercury tool,
If you can do it for any we'll do it later on market server, but you can do it for any server, any application, any web application. All right, now come to here. The thing that I want to explain, I'm going to see the way I am operating this tool. I need to remove all of these requests from here. I don't want all of this request here. I want to remove them. How will I do that? Everyone.
Control A.
Everyone. Okay. So see, someone is sleeping. Okay. Now, what is happening here? These requests came from the web application. Now I don't want them here. What I will do? I will press Ctrl A, right? Ctrl A, and I will click delete. They are gone, right? So what I am going to do here. If you come here in the application, now I am going to send a request to the server. Guys, take a look here. I am going to input user ID. I am going to input password, and then I am going to make a request to the server. So I am going to input. Let's say my user ID is automate code 1, and do you know why my username is automate code 1?
So we can easily remember.
Yeah, you can easily remember, and you can tell everyone that there is something called automate code. Okay. All right. So automate code 1, and then 1 2 3. My password is always a trademark password L 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. L uppercase 1 2 3 4 5. Now take a look here. I am clicking login. So when I clicked on login, if you go there, if you go to your Fiddler, can you see there are some requests generated here when you click login? Now, when you click login, the summary is you submitted a request to the server. Server in response. So, if you ask me question, if I don't answer, what will you do? This guy is dumb, right? Because he cannot answer the question. So I am requesting something to the server. Server in response will have to respond. If server cannot respond to my request, that means server is dumb. Server cannot handle my request. So when you are making a request to the server, server is responding in response. Now,
don't want it to be done.
Yeah. Now that is the point where our interest starts. Okay. Now I already captured what I need. I am going to stop capturing. Okay. I am going to stop capturing. Now I want to select everything. Then I want to, can you see comments here? Can you see comments? Right. There is a comments, right? So I want to comment this request. Okay, what is this request for? Right? What is this request for? If you come here, there are 10 rooms. So if there is no room number, it is hard like where we are. So these are the requests. I know these requests came from where? From login request. So to comment them out, what I did, Ctrl A and press M, right? I press M, and then I am going to input a comment. Let's say requests generated from login. Now can you see that requests generated from login, the way I wrote it? Can you see requests R uppercase, generated G uppercase, from F uppercase, L, login L uppercase? Can you see? No. When you are naming it, I want it in the same way. Yeah, it is not a rule, but what I am expecting from you, right, is the way I am doing it, you do it in the same way. Yeah, same way. Now let me click OK. Now this is So these requests are committed. All of the requests came from where? Came from login. Okay.
So when you basically highlight and put Control M and write
Only M. Only M.
Oh, only M.
Only M.
So that will go to every line of those.
Yeah, every line.
What did you call control A?
No.
A.
You first select Control A and then press M.
Everything.
Press M. Or you can do Control A and then you can click right click and then you can say there is a select all somewhere. Let me see if there is any select all.
You already selected. You might not have that. You have to unselect it and then.
Okay. I already select them. Now you unselect it.
Select all.
Then can you see select parent request, child request, duplicate request, matching values.
You have to right click on the empty place, not on the any empty place here.
Actually,
No.
can you see select all edit menu? Edit menu.
Yeah.
If you can select all from there and you can right click and you can comment. Okay. Now come to the point, guys. Let's say you commented it out, but your comment you need to update your comment. You made some mistake, you need to update it. How will you do that? You again select all and then right click. Can you see comment? You come here and then let's say I want to add a 01 in the beginning. So can you see it is updating altogether? Okay. Now let's come to the point what I wanted to discuss. Shahid bhai, to answer your question.
What was my question?
Your question, why you cannot see that
Oh no.
Reaper.
I need a glass myself. I don't have. It's not your fault.
Okay. Now take a look here. Take a look here. If I click on a particular request, right? If I click on a particular request, I clicked on the first request. What I did? I clicked on the first request. Now can you see my
The first comment of the request. Those are 3 lines, right?
actually 3 lines.
Right.
So there were three requests.
Went through.
Go through server.
Yeah.
We got something from the server. In order to happen this thing, 3 requests happen.
But we don't know if it will be 3 or 5, whatever. Right?
We don't know. It's system. Now take a look here. I clicked on the first request.
Right.
When I clicked on the first request, can you see? I can see my 3 part of the window.
Yeah.
Right. Now let me tell you, this part here is the request. This part, you can see this part here, this is the request, and you can see the lower part here, lower right part is the response. So when you are sending the login request to the server, you are sending something to the server, and then server in response is responding back to you, right? So the request part, we say the request part is the top right part, the response part is the bottom left part, and all the requests are here. All the thing that happened moving forward backward is in the left hand side.
What is it called? I mean, this is the request.
You can say these are all the requests.
All
that
the
happen,
requests.
all the
And
requests.
this one is the.
So for a specific request, that is the data being sent to the server. You can see what was the data sent to the server from this top part, and you can see what was the server's response from this part. Okay. Now remember,
Top one is your request, bottom one is the response.
response.
So what is the left one then?
The left one is all the requests that moving forward and backward is over there. Now take a look here. I am saying that top right part where we have submitted all the requests. Now when we have logged in, what we did, we have inputted a user ID, we have inputted a password, right? And then we click on login. Now if you take, can you see that web form? What is that? Naved, what is that? This word, what is that? Farhana, can you see what is that? Web form?
Look like one, yeah.
Okay. Can everyone see? This is web form, right? Now if you click on that web form, right, what can you see? You have input automate code 1, right? You have input password, trademark password L12345, right? So you have input user ID and password, and can you see that user ID and password here? Because we send those data to the server. Now you know why it is called the request, right? What data we are sending to the server. Now you know why this part is called the request.
It means part by part what we send it will be explained over there.
Yeah, over there. Now take a look here. We have input user ID and password only. But can you see there are some other data being sent to the server? Right? That means application, imagine it in that way. You want to go to someone's house, you buy something from the shop, you wrap it with the wrapping paper and then you give it to them. They put it in a gift bag and so we are sending user ID and password, but with that password we are wrapping it with a session ID and some other value, and that is being done by the application. You are not doing it. You are not doing it. Right? Okay. So what are we doing here? We are sending a request to the server. We have input user ID and password. But in addition to the user ID and password, can you see there is a in addition to the user ID and password there is a value here that is being sent to the server, right?
Can
By the application.
give us a break?
Why not? Why we need a break?
Or we need to drink coffee?
Let me finish whatever I want to discuss. I will give you a break at 10:30, but before that let me finish this discussion and then I will go. 10:30? 10:30.
10:30.
10:30.
Because
Right.
everybody
Can
sleeps.
I
Everybody
ask a
sleeps.
small question about this?
Go ahead,
For
sure.
example, that when I call, like sometimes we make a mess with this going to the banking or password going on. Then when we call them, then they will ask what is your password in CVS. So what is it means they're going to use this system and they're going to see what is my password.
No. Hold on. Let me tell you one clear thing. People who is dealing your call, they do not know your password. Nobody know your password.
They cannot know.
If a system, if banking application, if they can see your password, it will be a breach. It will be a breach of privacy. The way when you set up your password is stored in their
Now
database.
they're going to give the answer to me.
Hold on. Your password stored in the database, but it's stored in encrypted way. Can you see this? Can you see this value? Can you know what is that? Can you tell me what is? If you can look at that value, does it make any sense? Is this value, does it make any sense? So when you are saving your password to their database, it becomes a big value like this table, and then it is a value like some not meaningful data, right? So decoded. It is called encoded. Your password encoded and it's stored in the database. Now when you forget your password, you make them a call, and what they do, like they send you an email where you get a link and you set your password back. They cannot do it. So when you set up your password back, again it becomes encoded over there and stored in that database. Now,
So what is the encoded and coded?
encoded and decoded.
Decoded.
Encoded and decoded is when you, let's say your password is 12345, right? It will be encoded when it is encoded. It will be something like ABCD or some random. And decoded means like when you decode this back to its original form, that is decoded. Okay. Now here the main question here. When we are sending this request to the server, we have input user ID and password, but with that user ID and password, the application itself is sending some data, right? the application itself is sending some data. One of the prominent data is user session. One of the prominent data is user session. I will go through details, but my understanding here, my thing that I want to make you understand is this is the request. This is the request, and what is the response? Can you see response is encoded? Can you see response is encoded? So I will click on this. Now you can see that if you go to web view, okay, if you go to web view, when we have submitted this request, when you have submitted user ID and password, if you go to raw, then you will see, there is nothing meaningful here. There is nothing meaningful here unless there is some code here. So when you send that request to the server, what you did? You just sent the login request. And what happened here? There are some other things happen besides sending. So that is where you are sending your data in the first line, and some other thing automatically happened, right? If you click on the next one, that happened while it was logging in. If you click on that, and if you come here, right, if you go to web view, now you can see some of the itinerary, home button, some of the sign up button. If you go to the application itself, let's go to the application itself. Can you see that we have some buttons, right? So multiple call is happening here. One of the call is bringing this button. One of the call, right? When you send the login request, multiple thing is happening here. One of the multiple call is happening here. One of the call is sending the request to the server. Another request is bringing these menus here. Another, if you look at up there, let me go to the Fiddler. See here. If you come here to Fiddler, see here the last one. If you go to the last one, and can you see welcome automated one to the web tours reservation pages? Can you see this text? And if you go to your application itself, can you see we have this text present here? So it is multiple requests being happened, and each of the requests has its part, what it is doing. Now
sign in.
Yeah, for sign in,
as long as it is correct sign in,
correct
password.
Absolutely.
It will be not comes and it will be not request
Yes.
in the and light and this and that.
Yeah, it will not bring those things. Now everyone take a look here. What I am trying to explain here is, when you send login request, multiple things happens, and we can see from the Fiddler, we can see what is happening, what is going to the server in response what we are getting from server. Now if you take a look here, let me select all of this request. Let me select all of this request. When I have selected all of this request, and can you see this statistics here? Can you see the statistics?
All request when you highlighted all
Yeah.
request, it comes in statistics.
No. It is all still in inspectors, but we do not have any. For all of the requests, we do not have any combined inspectors. But I am going to focus on another thing now, is statistics. Can you see statistics?
So when did you send that two part on the right side? You had altogether three part of the Fiddler, right? So what happened to the right two part?
Oh,
Did you send them somewhere or?
which one?
The Fiddler had three different parts.
Yeah.
One on the left, one on the right, and the right one.
Yeah. So if you go to individual request and go to inspectors, it is there.
Okay.
When you select all of them, it's not going to show.
Yeah. So I'm going to select all of the request, and then I'm going to go to statistics to show you
The
something.
request comes to like all requests they come.
Yeah. So look at here, guys.
Yes.
When you have selected all of these requests, right? Now you can see some statistics in the screen. Now what are those statistics? Can you see bytes sent to the server?
Yeah.
So we have sent 1622 bytes to the server.
But we are receiving
We have received 3748 bytes to the from the server. So bytes sent to the server 1622, bytes received from the server 3748, and then if you come here, can you see that the request started at 9:50 54 second 31 millisecond. Request finished at 9:50 54 565 millisecond. And to complete that login, it took 0.251 millisecond. Can you see that?
yeah, there is the performance.
Right? So by Fiddler, for a single user, we are seeing for login how long it is taking, how many data we are sending to the server, how many data we are receiving from the server, everything we are seeing here in Fiddler. Right? Now, what is data being sent to the server? What is data being received from the server? Right? What is, we can see two things here: data sent to the server, data received from the server. What is that? It is like when you are sending data to the server, right? When you are sending the request, when you look at each of these requests, each of the request has, if you go to raw, each of the request has some data being sent to the server, and server in response, when you are making this request, server in response is giving back some of the data. If you come here in raw, can you see server in response? We are getting some response from the server for each of the request. For each and every request, I am sending some data to the server, I am receiving some data from the server for each and every request. So that is what we are measuring here in Fiddler, that how many data we are sending to the server and how many data we are receiving from the server. Now this is there is another question. Now, as a performance engineer, we have a standard. What is the standard? The standard is when you are sending data to the server, we do not recommend like you can send billions of data to the server. We do not recommend that. We have a established baseline, we have established recommendation. Okay, that many data you can send to the server. So when I was working in bank, when we do bandwidth analysis, when we are sending data to the server, if amount of data, you can see that for the whole request, if you go to the statistics, we have sent 1622 bytes of data to the server, right? Now, do you know how many bytes equal to 1 kilobyte?
1000.
1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte. 1 kilobyte. Okay? 1024 kilobyte equal to 1 megabyte. 1024 megabyte equal to 1 gigabyte. Okay? If you know up to that, you are good. 1008 bit equal to 8 bit equal to 1. 8 bit equal to 1 byte. 8 bit equal to 1 byte. 1024 byte equal to 1 kilobyte. 1024 kilobyte equal to 1 megabyte. 1024 megabyte equal to 1 gigabyte. Now, when I was working in bank, our standard was when you are sending data to the server, you can send 20 kilobyte. Up to 20 kilobyte, we say good. If it is more than 20 kilobyte, we raise a flag, say you are sending a little bit more data to the server, see if you can reduce. Number one. So when we are sending data, every team, every company has a standard. How many data you will be sending to the server, how many data you will be receiving from the server for a given request. Okay. Now, for one request, many organizations has criteria like that. For sending data to the server, standard is 1100 kilobyte. In terms of receiving data from the server, standard is 400 kilobyte. So when we are learning here, our standard is, when we are sending data to the server, our limit is 100 kilobyte. When we are receiving data from the server, our limit is 400 kilobyte. So when
But that limit is selected by the board.
that limit is depending on the organization. Let's say, what is the implication of these limits, right? Let's say you are using an application frequently from your mobile device, right? For some purpose, let's say you are a taxi driver, you are using Uber. Okay, so in a day you might go to Uber for 100 times, right? In a given day, Said, you are a taxi driver, I make you a taxi driver. Okay,
You can
so
sleep.
in a given day you are going to Uber 100 times. So every time you go to Uber, you do your work, right? Every time, in terms of data sending to the server, receiving from the server, every time you go there, you consume 20 megabyte of data. Every time you use Uber, it sends data to the Uber server, it receives data from the Uber server. Every time you go there, you use 20 megabyte of data. So if you go to 100 times, normally if a taxi driver, he go to 100 times to the Uber to get, like, if he has a tip. Now if he go there 100 times in a day, how many data he is using? 200 megabytes of data. Now in a week, how many megabytes of data he is using? 1400 megabyte of data, right? 1400 megabyte of data makes how many gigabyte, Mabu? 1400 megabyte of data makes how many gigabyte? Nearly 1.5 gigabyte. 1.5 gigabyte. Most of us in our phone, what is our data limit? 2 GB. Most of us, our data limit is 2 GB. Now in 1 week you have used 1.5 gigabyte of data. In 2 weeks you will be using 3 gigabyte of data. In 4 weeks you are going to use 6 gigabyte of data, right? That means you are using an application, it is costing you money, because the extra amount of data you have to buy from T-Mobile or Verizon Mobile, right? That means this software directly costing you money by data, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Now if Uber can do something, every time you go to Uber, it only consume half megabyte of data. Every time you go to Uber, it consume only half megabyte of data. Instead of using 20 megabyte of data every time you go to Uber, if they can bring something that it will be consuming only half megabyte of data. If you go to 100 times to Uber, then at the end of the day, actually you are consuming how many megabyte of data? At the end of the day, you are consuming 50 megabyte of data. In a given month, in 30 days, you are using 1500 megabyte of data in 1 month. That is keeping you in your data limit. So if Uber can do something, it is a real help to those who are taxi driver, right? Because they are saving money by using less data. So that is where for Uber their application is being used by millions of people, general people. So they want to keep their data being sent, being received as low as possible. Their application is customer facing, and their goal will be to keep this data limit as low as possible, so that they do not cost extra amount of money to the what? To the general users, right? Sometimes I stop here. You know why? Okay. Now, now,
More data.
now, yeah, to save more data. Okay. Now, is it clear? Like, what is the implication of these data uses? Why we need to analyze these data uses? Why they need to keep the data limited? Because if their application is being used by even Farhana is going to sponsor us in a movie in the okay now even you know that you are using Comcast, you have a limit in a given month how many gigabyte of data you can use. You know that, right? 300 or something. Comcast has a limitation. If you go beyond 300 gigabyte, there for every 10 gigabyte they will be charging you money. Yeah, they have
They
limit.
don't normally mention,
But it is there.
If you exceed all the time, they will send
It is
you-
there. So that what does this mean? This means data is important. When you are sending data, when you are receiving data from the server, it is important. So what performance testers do? Like another thing, besides money factor, if you are sending too many data to the server and in response you are receiving too many data from the server, remember when you are using as a single user you might not see any problem, but under load, remember there is a data pipeline. By the data pipeline there is a limitation, that data pipeline, right? There is a possibility there will be problem. So
Everybody is ordering, so the throughput will be affected.
affected. So that's why we have a limitation here. How many data you can send to the server, how many data you can receive from the server, right? Now let's say for login your criteria, business requirement is you will have to get the login request will have to be completed in 1 second. But for a single user, if you see it is taking 2 seconds, that means for a single user it is not meeting the performance criteria. How come it will be meeting the performance criteria for 100 users? So in the beginning you are pointing them, hey folks, your response time requirement is 1 second for this login, but for single user bandwidth analysis when I am doing it, it is showing me 2 seconds, right? Definitely under load it is going to be performing bad. Now you need to do a couple of things. If you want to go with whatever you have, you will have to modify your performance criteria, so that you will have to modify your performance criteria, or you will have to improve something. You will have to look at your code, you will have to look at how many bytes you are sending, you will have to look at it, and then you will have to come forward. Then we can move forward with the performance testing. So you have to do two things: either you will have to modify your requirement, or you will have to modify your application itself.
This question. We do the performance testing at the point everything is being done, whether UAT is done or not, but we do production anyway. The question is, you can definitely expect a single user bandwidth will be much better than the performance criteria. Is that right? It should be.
Yeah.
It's only one.
Yeah.
So then when you're going to use the Fiddler for the single user, then you're going to figure it out. Then when you're going to go to measurement for 100 or thousands or millions, then we're going to use it we're going to find out how many. I'm going back again.
For a single user, how long it is taking? We can assume that for a single user this is the performance. For 100 users, that will be the performance. We can assume that.
Do we still use Fiddler at that time, or we different tool?
For what time?
Loader, no, when we're doing really for like current 1,000 users or something.
No, on that time our performance tool is doing the
They're
measure.
different.
Yeah. When we are doing for 100 users, we don't use Fiddler.
We don't use-
Our performance tool is there.
Fiddler, don't Fiddler.
Okay. Now, everyone, now take a look here. let me bring, is it clear like what is request, what is
Yeah.
response, what is data, what is limitation of data,
Yes.
how we bring statistics, everyone, Mahbub, Saeed, we
Yeah,
got,
so
we
in
got it,
our
right?
private, performance criteria, they're going to be always explained there, right? The
Yeah.
timing, the data,
Yeah.
everything. But
Data,
we-
see the data perspective, it will not be coming from the business team. Performance engineering team has that by default they have a standard.
Oh, really?
How many? Yeah,
Oh.
they have a standard, and this data standard you are recommending from your end. They might look at it, they might not look at it. Okay,
No, but the reason I'm saying, we are only, basically our whole focus is the performance.
performance.
Now, if the performance is not accordingly, then
Then
we cannot let them know.
yeah,
The developer should develop accordingly so that the performance gets better.
Yeah, get better.
Coding basically. So the data back and forth is basically part of the coding, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So the scrutiny comes when you execute a test and the performance is not met. Then the more deeper analysis comes. Okay. Now, as a performance engineer, to save our back, we always let them know. You know that might happen. This is what my finding. Okay. So that later on if they come, why he didn't let us know early? Tomorrow we are going for production. Now you are telling your performance is not good. Oh, we already did performance based on analysis and we got it in the beginning. Okay, but again, tomorrow there are release, but performance testing result is not good. They will have to
So,
delay the release. They will have to figure out what is wrong and then they will be going to production. All right. Now, everyone, take a look here. The summary here. I'm going to a slide here. So what we got here? So all request and response from login or whatever. Here in this part is the request body with data being sent to the server, and here response from the server. These three parts, are we clear about what is this three part? Now let me move forward with another thing here. Now, when you do single user bandwidth analysis, besides analyzing this time, we do a couple of more things. What is those couple of more things? If you take a look here, if you click on one of the okay, let me bring. Now you can do another thing with it. I'm going to delete all of it, right? And then I'm going to file. Can you see load archive? Right? Everyone can see this, right?
Yeah.
Load archive. And if you go there, I have some, by capturing something, you can save it in your computer. How you save it? First, let me show you how you can save it. Let's say you have. Let me bring some request. Okay, let me start capturing again. Let me go to the application. So this is my application, press enter. So this is my, let's say I have these requests here. Now I want to save this somewhere. Can you see how I am saving it? Now you can
How
go.
do you save it?
Okay, let me show you again. You click on file and can you see save
Save,
all
yeah.
sessions, and then you come to your drive where, and again this is one of the other important thing I want to tell you. I know you will make mistake here. When you are saving something, do not just save where it points you directly. When you click on file save as, it take you somewhere, and if you save it over there, later on you will not find it. You don't know where you are saving. So when you are saving something, when you are creating a new script, always you have a common place. You create a common place in your hard drive. Let's say I have a common place in this folder, and in this folder I have a folder called performance testing. I save it always there. So you should have a folder in your computer for performance testing. Whatever you save, whatever you write, whatever documents I am sending you, I want to see on that specific performance testing folder. not here and there. All of your documents that we are using here and sending you, it should be in a folder called performance testing. Right side? Okay. Now here in Fiddler analysis, I can give a name. I can give a name and I can save it. So that is how you save it. But my goal here, I'm going to load an archive. Before I load an archive, let me delete everything. Let me go file, load archive, and then let me go to that folder again. And I believe I have something. If you go there, performance testing, Fiddler traces. So I'm going to open a Fiddler test from there to show you something from there. Now, as a performance tester, we do a couple of more things. As I said, can you see all of these red requests here? We tell them these red requests are unnecessary requests. So it is, as I was giving an example in the last session. Yeah, kitchen cake, CAYG, clean as you go. So developers, they do a lot of things. Some of the things that didn't keep it clean. If you look here, can you see that new tools demo? If you click on it, if you come here in inspectors, and if you go to web view here, this is the response. Can you see it is saying that not found? It is saying that not found. Can you see that? Now if you come to a good request, you will see actually it is bringing something from the application, right?
The result.
You will get a response. Can you see these data is from the server? We are getting data from the server, but if you go to those red requests, it will say
Any other red?
yeah, all of the red will show the same thing.
Not found.
Not found, page not found. 404. 404 is a bad. Remember, can you see this 404 not found? Remember, can you see that 404 not found? If you see 404 not found, it is a bad. For performance testing, you want to let them know this is 404 page not found. Can you look at it? Now
That is really the business, like the application crash, right?
no, it is not application crash. It is, as I said, all of the request here is doing something. So this request is trying to bring something. Let me show you here. When you do, let's say, can you see destinations? On that Mercury side, we have the icon destination. So each of the requests here in the left hand side is doing something. But we have some unnecessary request. It should bring something. It is not bringing.
So, but I'm saying, like, as a whole, let's say you're trying to get something and the only thing is coming not found 404. That is called crash, right?
Yeah.
That's
As a whole, if it
as a
comes
whole,
like
yeah.
page not found, it's a crash. Now, this request, they're supposed to bring something. They are not bringing, or they are still making request to the server, but they don't need to make this server because these resources no longer needed. It was for the previous version, and they do not need those data anymore. So what they need to do, if really they need this thing, they need to put it in the server. If they don't need it, they need to remove it.
Clean it.
Remove it here. They need to clean it. So we recommend whatever red you see, we let them know. We let them know that by taking a screenshot. We take a screenshot and we let them know that guys, this red request needs to be taken care of. Okay. As a performance tester, we do this. Then let me come to the another thing that we mentioned. Now, remember I told you the amount of data we are sending to the server, the amount of data we are receiving from the server has a lot of contribution to the performance, right? Now let me show you one thing here. Specifically, JavaScript file or any kind of CSS file, I will be focusing on here in this part. Let me try to see if there is any JavaScript or CSS file here. This application is just a demo application. We might not get that many things, but let me show you one thing here. Can you see this PHP file? Guys, can you see this PHP file? If I come here, can you see transformer? In transformer, that PHP file, no response body. Give me 1 second here. Headers, transformer. syntax view, text view, image view. I'm trying to get a JavaScript file or text file to show you something.
Mostly written in hypertext transfer protocol.
Yeah, HTTP protocol.
But some are written in hypertext markup language.
This is web development thing. This is like, you know, HTTP. We'll go to protocol later on. Now take a look here. I want to show you one other thing that as a performance tester we recommend when you do single user bandwidth analysis. Can you see that for this request response body is 7068 bytes? Can you see that?
Yeah.
That means 7 kilobytes. 7068 bytes means nearly 7 kilobytes. Now can you see no compression here?
Yes.
Means it is not compressed. But if you, what is the size now? 7068 bytes. But if you compress it, it becomes 1600. From 7000 it becomes 1600. So as a performance tester, specifically for JavaScript file, if the JavaScript file, you can see if the you can see the JavaScript file, and if you see it is not compressed, and if your request is bigger than our standard, then you let them know that you need to compress this request, because if you do not compress, it is taking too much, you are sending or receiving too much data from the server, and if you compress it, it becomes a smaller amount of data, right? So specifically, can you see .php here? Can you see that it is a .php file? You will see in the actual application there will be some .js file, JavaScript file, .js and .css file. So if you see those files are not compressed, then you let them know that the request is growing bigger because these requests are not compressed. You need to compress it.
What is CSS stand for?
Cascading style sheet.
Cascading style sheet.
Now what is the thing? If your request is too big, and if you see that JavaScript and CSS files are not compressed, we need to let them know. If you go for a standard website, good website, they will always be compressed, but not all of the organization can maintain that standard. But your duty as a performance tester is to let them know that, guys, you need to do that. Okay? It is their part. How they will be doing compress, it is their part. Your task is to let them know. If you can compress it, you will be sending or receiving more data from the server. System performance will be optimized.
So if it is compressed, automatically it will be reduced. It will be coming for the less data.
Yeah, less data if it is compressed. Okay, what is the question? Let me stop recording here. How you download something, and when you download something saved in your computer, where does it save, and how you move it from there to somewhere else? Let me show you. Look at here. In order to download Fiddler, what you do, you type in your taskbar download Fiddler, right? Now can you see download Fiddler 4 or whatever it comes, you click on it, download Fiddler. Then if you click on here, can you see this link? If you click on here, download will be started. If you click here, let me click it here. Now when I click on here, can you see that it is saying downloading Fiddler? Can you see that?
Downloaded
Okay.
Fiddler or downloaded
downloading Fiddler. Can you see it has downloaded here? Can you see that it has something has been downloaded here?
Yeah.
Then you right click here. You right click here, and then can you see show in folder?
Yes.
Click on show in folder, and then can you see I have downloaded it twice.
Yes.
So I'm going to copy, like if you will have one downloaded, you cut Control X. You cut it from here. Control X. What do you press? Control X to cut. Cut. Okay. And then after you cut it, what you do? After you cut it, then you go to your C drive. Go to your C drive here. Create a folder and name it as performance testing, and press enter. Go there, paste it here. I want to see that whatever you have downloaded, it is not forgotten. Remember, Donald Trump want to remember all of the forgotten people. So when you download something, if it is in your download folder, then you are forgotten where it is. I don't want everything here and there in your download folder. Instead of when you download something, it is a necessity. You bring it somewhere in your computer. Later on, you might need to uninstall Fiddler. Then you do not need to download it again. You already have it in your computer, and you click here. Then it will start the installation.
I didn't follow that much.
Why you didn't follow? Tell me. The bandwidth analysis that those we are going to do on Mercury Tours, and in Mercury Tours you can see that I have 3 test cases here. How many test cases I have here? 3. I am going to do bandwidth analysis for this test case, and then you are going to do the bandwidth analysis for the remaining test cases. Now if you take a look, what is the thing that we are doing here? Go to newtours.demoaut.com. just look at here. Go to newtours.demoaut.com. click on register menu, and then input the data and submit it. Okay, the test case is, if I go through manually, the test case that I am going to do is I am going to go there, and then I am going to click on register menu, and then I am going to input these user fields, and I am going to submit it. So that is my test case.
So if it is successful login, that is one.
It is not login, Naved. It is actually we are creating a user here. Registering users here. Now this is my first test case that I am going to do bandwidth analysis here. What are the steps? Open the application, navigate, open browser and navigate to Mercury Demo Tours, and then from there click on register, and then input user ID password, and then click on submit. Right now I'm going to do that, but let me see my Fiddler. I'm going to remove everything, and then before I start bandwidth analysis, I always go to tools, and can you see delete browsing history? You use which browser? Internet Explorer. So when you remove, can you do it in Internet Explorer? Because when you are clearing your history, probably you have some important history that you want to keep. So in the Internet Explorer, normally we do not keep. Yeah. So you remove all the history from there before you do bandwidth analysis. You remove all the history. Nizamba, is your computer started?
Yeah.
Started. So now.
I'm going to download it.
Okay, now focus on here, and later on you do it. Now I deleted all of the history from here. And then I'm going to go to my Fiddler to see if there is anything left. Yeah, there is something left here. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete everything that I have here. And then can you see still something is coming? Because I have that I have that website open, and that website is continuously generating. It is continuously, can you see Yahoo? Yahoo is continuously doing something in the background, and that's why in our,
Showing up there.
yeah, it is showing up there in Fiddler. Can you see? It is there, but
That's because of the
dynamic,
website.
yeah, dynamic
Static,
website.
you wouldn't do that, right?
No, static, dynamic website, it is always looking for something, it is always searching something in the background, that's why. Now I am going to go to that website and put that URL. What is that URL? That application URL, newtours.demo UIOT, and click. Can you remember what is that newtours? Newtours. Click enter.
New2.com, right?
In newtours.demo AUT.com. AUT.com. Now new tools. Okay, now don't do anything here, just look at here. Can you see we have some requests here,
Yes.
and these requests, all of them are from where? All of them are from new tools, right? I'm going to comment out what these requests came from where. Open application. When we opened application, we got these requests, right? Is it clear, everyone? Okay.
You save it?
Yeah, now I will save it later. Now my comment part is far away. I am going to bring it here. Can you see now? So this request we got it from opening application. Then what is in my test case? What is the next step? What is my next step?
Register.
Click on the register link. Okay, I am clicking on the register link. Now if you go to your Fiddler, these are the requests that came from.
Register.
So this is 02. Click on register. Now when I am naming, if you take a look here, every transaction, like every transaction that I am naming, I am starting with 01, 02, right? I am starting with what? First one I did 01, second one I did 02, and can you see, do I have any space in between the words? Open application, click on this, do I have any space? No. And can you see that the naming convention that I am following, my first, all of the words starting with uppercase, you will follow the same structure when you are uppercase. Okay. Now what is my next transaction? My next transaction, according to my test case, the next transaction is input this value, right? Input this value. Can you see I am inputting, let's say, first name. First name, what is the first name? Let's say I am to give automate. Okay. And last name I am to give code. Now when I am doing this, when I am inputting data in this field, if you go back here, see here something happened, right? Something happened, but is it from new tools? What happened? Is it from new tools? Look at my screen here. When I input the user first name and last name, that up to that is my click on register, right? Up to line number 43, everyone, up to line number 43 is what? You can see it is from new tools. Look at the board. Up to line number 43, it is going to new tools, bringing something for us, right? But if you look at line number 49 and 50, can you see it is office, Nexus office. That means when we are going to office, then it is doing something here as well, right? Or it is coming from office. So that means all of the requests here are related to new tools, but these two, can you see some other request coming? We have Office, Microsoft Word open. It is continuously trying to do something.
Even it's like client-based application, but it's still
it is
connection with
internet.
Microsoft.
Internet. So it is doing something, and we don't need them, because if we mix these data with new tools, then it will be confusion, and we don't need. We are having unnecessary. That will temper our performance. result, right?
In practical, are we going to get the same way?
In practical, yeah, in practical you are going to get the same way, and if you
This
see,
lot of application is there.
yeah, if you see unnecessary thing coming here, you are going to remove them. See, these are unnecessary because you can see
When
host.
we're working on it.
Yeah. Can you see, guys? Can you see what is the column header here? Host. What is that? Host. If you see something not coming from new tools, that means they are not from our new tools.
Not really then.
Not relevant, exactly. They are irrelevant. So can you see this one is from Nexus, Office, Tunnel 2, they are not relevant. Now you know why they are not relevant, right? Because we are testing the application new tools, host new tools, but if something is coming from other source than new tools, then we know these are
Other application basically.
yeah, these are not relevant. So what we do, we select them and press delete. So all the unnecessary requests we remove. Now remember, I input user ID and password,
Yes.
but for user ID and password, did you see anything generated here in Fiddler? Let me go back to the application. So if I have already input user ID and password, let me input the phone number. Okay, let me input an invalid phone number.
Unless you enter, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I have input the user ID. Now if you go to Fiddler, can you see anything happened here? Nothing happened, right?
No.
That is why one of the reasons when you do functional testing, when you use, let's say, UFT for functional automation, when you input user ID, you will see a line is generated in the code.
Because it's taking,
Yeah, it is functional testing, but in performance testing,
that is not a matter.
yeah, you will not see, like in performance testing, we measure what we are sending to the server, what we are receiving from the server. We are not doing functional testing. That is one of the reasons why performance testing is not a functional testing, non-functional testing. Then you come here, you go to the application, you input address and you input city, you input, let's say, United States. Now username, okay, I'm going to give automate code, let's say 21. Actually I have to give 30 because probably I might use some of them. Okay, now password, again, what is my password? L12345. Now you know, all of you know what is my password. L12345. L uppercase 5, right? Now let me take a look in my
Fiddler.
nothing, right?
So you just submit it.
Yeah. Now when you submit it from here, right? When you submit it, I'm submitting it, right?
Yeah.
Can you see it is taking a little bit time? Okay. Remember, it is moving, right? I'm trying to submit, it is moving. Okay. Now you go to your Fiddler. You go to your Fiddler. What is my
Go to your Fiddler.
here? Can you see? These are the requests happened from. These are the requests happened from where? These are the requests happened from new tools in. These are the requests happened when I was trying to enter the information. Now I'm going to put, let's say, okay. Now let's keep this part. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. Let me delete this. So up to that, click on register, right? I have these three requests. Now I'm done. I'm stopping capturing and then I'm saving it. Let's say, can you see save? Can you see this? Save all sessions, right? And this is what? This is test case 1. If you go back to the document here, what is the test case? This is the TC01 and new users registration. So I am going to my Fiddler here and I'm giving a meaningful name. etc01. Let's say new tools user text. You can give any name, okay? And then
Why do you say that?
I save it. I'm going to show you why I save it. Now let's say I have closed Fiddler, right? Now where will you get those? What you did? Where will you get those? So if you do not save it, now if you close your Fiddler, it is no longer there, right? So what you do? File.
Turn off the capture.
Hmm?
Turn off the capture.
Yeah, turn off the capture. That's fine. Load or type, and when you click on load or type, then you already saved it somewhere. Where you saved it in this folder. And what is the name of the this one? And Fiddler traces. Can you see I saved it? That's why now I can open it. If I don't save it, I'll be those traces will be lost, right? Now you know that these are the requests that those we get from there. And remember one thing, that this is not an ideal test environment, right? This is not an ideal test environment. The thing that we are doing here, people are using, sometimes we will get irrelevant data, sometimes we will not get relevant data. But when you are testing on your application in the actual world, you will get actual data. But here we are learning the process. We might not get 100% accurate data from this side, but what we are learning here, we are learning the process so that we can do in the actual ideal environment. Now let me open it. Now you are going to prepare your analysis. Okay, let me show you how you prepare your analysis. So this is the test cases. These are the test cases. I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to create a new document. Let's say I'm opening a new document. I pressed Ctrl N for creating a new document. Now let me go there. I'll have to minimize it. Okay, then let me go to my document. Okay, this is my new document, right? Now let me insert. Let's say this one is new tools bandwidth analysis, single user bandwidth, new tools single user bandwidth analysis, single user bandwidth analysis, and you do do not think that he is leaving because he will have to face the quiz. He got to go to hospital, so he is not leaving because of the fear for the quiz. Okay, we are having a quiz. We will have a quiz. Okay. Now new to single user bandwidth analysis. Then you come here. Insert a table here. Let's say you put column 5 and row, let's say 6, and then let's say here transaction none, and then transaction name, and then actually this text is too big. I'm going to make it smaller. Yeah, I'm going to make it 12. So transaction name, transaction name, and byte or data sent, and here data received, and here response time,
get this from you, right?
Yeah, we'll do it.
You're gonna send us later, right?
Yeah, we'll send you. I'll send you this one and also I'll send you the test cases.
Yeah.
Now take a look here. I'm going to insert a new column to the right, and here I will keep another thing comment. Okay. Now this transaction, now I will make it smaller. One. We have how many transactions over there? 3. And let me make this text size really. Actually, I can make everything 12. Now, what was our first transaction? 01. Open application. What is our next transaction? Click on register. Let me see. Let me look at the Fiddler trace. Open application. Click on register. That's it. That is what we have. Now, no, I didn't go for the other one. Now let me go there in the document. We have this 2 transaction. I am going to remove all the other rows. Delete entire row. Delete entire row.
There's no way to delete 2, 3 rows at a time, right?
Yeah, you can.
I can.
Yeah, you can select and delete them. So delete cells, delete entire row. Okay. Now the first transaction. Let's go to the first transaction. Yeah, let's go to the Fiddler. For the first transaction, we have request from here to open application, right? Up to that. And then if you click on statistics, right? Then yeah. So how much data we send to the server? How much data we receive? Now, how much data we send to the server? 16. I am copying this data, and then I am going to. This is what? This is bytes or kilobyte? This is what? Can everyone tell me? Yeah. So I have copied that amount of data. I am opening a calculator and I am pasting it here. Then dividing it by 1024 to convert it to kilobyte. How many kilobyte? 8.61. 8.61. So I am going to put in my document how many data we send to the server. 8.61 kilobyte. And then data received. In terms of data received, how many data we received from the server? 6035 bytes, not kilobyte. And then I am going to go to calculator, pasting it here, then dividing it by 1024, right? 64.1 what? Kilobytes. Let me write it here. 64.1 kilobyte. And yeah, so this one should not be an issue. For 01 kilobyte, it is not going to make that much difference. Okay. Now, if you look at the original test case, right? What is the? If you look at the original test case, what is the response time expected? When you get the requirement from the business team, they said we are expecting 2 seconds. Under load, we are expecting response time 2 seconds, right? But let me see in our Fiddler trace, what is the response time we got? Clock sequence clock duration. Can you see? 0.920 millisecond. That means it is less than a second. We can, if you round it, it could be 1 second, right? If we round it, can you see 920 millisecond? It is near to 1 second, right? So we can say that it took, without load, it took. If we go there, it took 1 second, right? Okay. Then you come here for the next transaction. The next transaction, if you go there, what is the expected? 2 seconds. Now let me go there. Let me put the data here. let me put the data here, and let's say you go there, you go to your Fiddler over there and look at how long it took the next transaction. So the next transaction again it took less than a second, right? So if we round it, again, if you round it, it will be 1 second. You can say probably less than a second, but we will say here 1 second. Again 1 second, we got 1 second. And in terms of sending and receiving data, if you go back to Fiddler, these numbers are 2904, 31,376. So
In and out.
in and out. So this is what we are sending to the server. That means 2904, it will be nearly 3. It will be, let me do the calculation actually. Let me do the calculation. 1024, 2.84. So what is the amount of data we sent to the server? We sent to the server 2.84, and how much data we received from the server? 31,376. So if I go to the Fiddler, 31,376 divided by 1024, that makes 30.64 kilobyte. Here let me put 30.64 KB. Now, as I said, our standard, when we are learning, our standard, what is our standard? Up to acceptable, up to 100 KB. When we are sending data to the server, acceptable is up to 100 KB. When we are receiving from the server, acceptable up to 400 KB. And 400 KB. Now response time, again response time, what is the acceptable? We know it from the criteria, performance criteria. They will be mentioning it over there. Now here if you look at, our acceptable is up to 100, but we sent 8.61 kilobyte. So we are good. It is good.
Within the limit.
Yeah. Here our acceptable is 400 kilobyte, but we received 64.1. It is acceptable. So if they ask you, do you have any comment? No comment. Everything is good, right? This one again, same thing. If they ask you, do you have any comment? No comment. Everything is good, right? So
Did I write like everything?
no. You keep it like that. And remember one thing. When you are giving them result, you do not say no problem. Everything is good. You don't say that, because later on, if anything come problem, then you have to say, like I give you a response. What? It looks okay to me, right? Right? It looks good. You do not do that much appreciation. You say should be okay. You do not give that much, high appreciation, confidence to them. Yeah. So when you are putting your comment, because lot of time what comes, like, you will see you are giving a result. Sometimes our result comes incorrect. Our tools sometimes give incorrect result. So sometimes you will get situation like that. So you do not want to give them overconfidence.
You need to test the tool first.
See,
You have to be slick.
see one thing here. In performance testing,
Yeah.
none of the tool, let me tell you the thing, none of the tool is 100% reliable. You can probably depend on them 80%, not more than that. And out of all of the tools, load runner is the most dependable tool. And whatever tools in the market, you can depend on them 80% to 85%, not more than that. So it will not give you. It is the measuring performance is a very complex. Like the tool, the way it works, it is a very complex. The people who designed it, the tool itself is a very complex methodology, and it is they are still upgrading it. There are still hundreds of engineers working on this procedure. They are still upgrading it. Everything is upgrading, improving it. But so far, load runner is the most dependable tool, and we can depend on it probably 80 to 85%. We do not tell the business team that our tool is 85% dependable. We always tell them our tool is dependable, because otherwise they will say, if you say no, your test is replication is not passing, they will say, man, your tool is not good. So you never tell them that my tool is 85% dependable. Okay, as a performance engineer, you will have to keep it in mind. Okay, so that's why you do not give overconfidence to people. You say. Okay, now you come to the point. So we have two transactions. For the two transaction, we did our bandwidth analysis, but this is for one test case. Now some other thing you are doing.
This is what you are looking for.
This is what I am looking
Test
for.
case.
Every test case. Now some other thing that we need to you will have to, when you are sending me a report. Let's say this is my bandwidth analysis report. Some other thing you will have to tell me. If I go to that Fiddler trace, can you see this red request? So you will have to take a screenshot showing inspectors, and you come here web view, and you will have to take a screenshot. You will have to tell. Also, I want to mention some other thing. If you take a look here, all of the red requests, if they are unnecessary, please remove them. So you take a screenshot here, and if you want, you can open. If you want, you can you see this highlighted? You can highlight it in that way. You can highlight, and then you can highlight. Yeah, so it is. Can you see this highlighted here? And remember this favicon ICO. Can you see this favicon ICO? You do not highlight this, because a lot of applications have this. It is a development related.
Which one is favicon?
This, can you see this favicon ICO?
Okay. Highlight one of the favicon.
No, don't highlight this favicon, because all application has it. Probably it is a development related thing. We don't highlight it. Now you come here. Can you see this? Accept everything. You highlight it. You highlight, and you say, please, if these requests are not needed, right? If these requests are not needed, please remove them. Okay, and you take this, you copy this screenshot, you go to your document up there, right? You say here, let me make this to 12. If highlighted requests are not necessary, please remove them.
So you basically don't give the decision. You just tell them.
Yeah, you tell them. Please
So
remove them.
the report, that the result analysis, who does that?
Analysis we do.
Okay.
We do. Like,
So if we do analysis, so can you not tell them what to do?
yeah, you can tell them. Again, when you are telling them, that is what we saw, you might want to take a look at this to figure out this issue. So when you are preparing a report, in the report there will be a recommendation. What is your recommendation, and you send it to them. And
Well, here is the question, because we found all of them is good anyway. Here, let's say we found the performance criteria or acceptance criteria, same thing, right? We found it's bad. Instead of 2 seconds, it's taking 3 seconds. Now, but can we tell what is the bottleneck, the point of bottleneck?
So here, what we can tell them. Let me show you one other thing that you will have to mention.
I know it's seeing illusion.
Yes.
So in that case, definitely it's not going to be load. It's going to be system. Right?
Yeah, it's gonna be, then need to look at, like, if there is any external call, if something is too big, then it to make it smaller. So if you take a look here, for every, if you take a look for, if you go to the statistics, for every of the, for each of these line we have statistics here, right? For each of this line we have the statistics, how long it is taking. Can you see? For each of this line we have the statistics, how long it is taking, right? So you can tell them, okay, this is the request is taking the most longest time. You look at this one. So when you are going through each of the requests, you can see like specifically which request is taking more time. Then you can say, look at this one, probably this one is causing the most issue. And one other thing that you will have to do, as I said, if you go to the inspectors and if you come here, transformer, can you see? If you see basically JavaScript and CSS, where you will see .js, .css instead of .gif, instead of .gif, you can recommend that if you can compress this. If you do not compress it, it is taking, it is using 27,000 bytes, but whereas if you compress it, it is taking only 5,000. It is decreasing, if you compress it, it is decreasing the size by 1. How? It is decreased 3/4, right? So you can tell them, okay, you can give another screenshot and you can send it to them. Okay, this is where if you can compress it, that might improve the performance.
Until you don't click, you don't know that it is compressed or don't.
Yeah, until you click it and until you bring the transformer page, we do not know if it is compressed or not.
So it's supposed to be now compression.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Request. If it is, then it might be mostly they will send it with compression.
Yeah, compression. So whatever you recommend here, remember, whatever you recommend here, they will take it very seriously and they will be working on it.
And we do specific one by one, how many seconds?
We do specifically, we select the request, let's say from opening application. From opening application, all of this together is a transaction.
So how can I know which the specific one with more time?
Oh, who is a specific one, you can click on it and then if you click.
No, it's, I know like everyone is for each one by one, or supposed to be another way. Like
No, you'll have to go through each one by one to see which one is taking longer.
All the test code automate code gen.
Yeah, automate code gen. Right. So far, again, if you see what is the file that you will be recommending them so that they can compress it, .js means JavaScript file and CSS file. If you see those are not compressed and your request is going higher, let's say if you come here, if you see it is, we are receiving 700 kilobyte of data from the server, then you will have to go there and find out which one is not compressed in terms of JavaScript and CSS and tell them to you compress this one as well. It will recommended, yeah. This is a recommendation. It depends on department to department, depends on application to application, organization to organization.
But it is standard.
This is standard.
400 is single data or
400 is for a single transaction.
receiving data from
Yeah, 400 KB for a transaction.
why it is more? Because if it is not this, they will not.
up to 400 is too slow.
Up to 400 might be acceptable, up to 400. But if it goes beyond 400, under load, it can create issues.
After 600 is bad.
Let's say if it goes beyond 400, you want to raise a flag. Okay, this is like, if it is more than 400, you put a comment here. This request is receiving or sending more than 400 kilobytes. It could create an issue during performance testing. Okay. Now, what you will do, you will be preparing for the remaining 2 test cases. You will be preparing. I'm going to send this document plus the remaining 2. Yeah, remaining 2 test cases to you. I'm going to give you whatever I prepared here, this one and the test cases. You are going to, from your home, you are going to prepare a analysis document and you are going to send it to me. Okay.
Analysis document.
bandwidth analysis document.
Okay, so our job is analyze the document and also testing it.
You cannot analyze before test, right?
Test, yeah.
So when you are testing, then you are
You have
getting
to
the
test.
Fiddler trace, and from the Fiddler trace you analyze it. You got it?
Supposed to be like testing first.
No, you analyze first and test later, right?
That's why.
No, when you
Test
when you
first.
when you are testing, right, then it is generating the load in Fiddler, right? You save the Fiddler and then you analyze it. Okay.
Analyze means you basically tell it's okay or not, or you suggest something to do, okay, need to be changed this thing, like highlight this thing, whatever. Because if you don't have the result, you cannot say anything, right? Once you have the result, then you can tell them, yeah, what needs to be done, based on the result.
Is it now?
Yes.
Got it? Now I'm going to save this document. How you save it? You all know how to save it, right? You click on File, Save as, right? Browse. Remember one thing here. When you browse, if it takes you in this page, will you be saving it here? No. Where will you save it? You will be clicking on C drive. You have a performance folder. I don't have. I saved it somewhere else. I will be going to. You will be going to your folder, specific folder. Our folder is 3QI Labs, and then we have a folder called performance testing. Over there, I am going to Fiddler analysis, right? I am going to give this name and save it over there. Now, when you are sending it to me, everyone, when you are sending it to me, how will you send it to me? Let me show you how you send it to me. Email. I'm just going to my email, and from there I'm going to send you these two documents so that you can I'm showing you how you will be sending it to me. Now this is your group here. I'm going to send it to you. So you will be using your Gmail. You click on attachment, the clip, and then when you send your work to me, and then you go to your folder where you have created it, and then I have a folder performance testing, and from there I have saved that Fiddler analysis here, new tools. I am attaching it, and with that you will be attaching also one other thing. Remember that Fiddler trace? We have created a Fiddler trace. We have saved it.
Yes.
We have, remember this one, look at the board.
No. Yes.
We save this new tools user registration Fiddler file.
Yeah. we said
Fiddler
that.
file. You send me that Fiddler file. You attach it. You send it to me, and you send. So
And
this.
the Fiddler file in the results.
No.
Request.
It is. Remember.
What is Fiddler file? The request, right?
Yeah, the request, like when we captured it, we went to file,
And
save, all session. We did it.
Yeah.
We saved it here.
Can you show the audit?
Hmm?
same thing.
It is the one. This one.
Same one.
So yeah, so you saved it. Now you know we saved it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where we saved it in this path, in this page. Now I'm going to, when you are sending me your work, you also send this Fiddler file.
So basically, you will look at this based on that. Did we really analyze this good or not?
Yeah, I'll be
Right or
looking
wrong.
at it. So you go there, you click on your attach, and then you attach it, and when everything is attached, then you send it to me. I'm going to attach one other thing, that is the test cases. Let me attach the test cases. Analysis and your Fiddler trace file. That is my- Are we feeling sleepy?
Actually not sleepy, but on the other hand, stuff memorizing.
So yeah, that is why our recording is there. Okay, let me see where is my test cases that I need to send to you. Mercury test cases, it is in this folder. Let me go there. Okay, so it is in the performance testing folder, and then I have a document Mercury test cases. So I am sending you this document.